What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Algebra 1 with Mr. Peters. Today we're looking at a rational equation. I'm going to show you guys how to solve from start to finish. So when we're looking at rational equations like the one below, what we have to understand is that this is going to follow the same principles of fractions and factoring. What does Mr. Peters mean? So we want to pay attention to this trinomial and we want to break it down. The reason we want to break it down is because we have to have the same denominator on the left side so that we could combine x and 5. And typically when we look at this, guys, I want you to understand that the answer is right there in front of us. 9 times out of 10, whatever they give us in the denominator is probably going to be a combination. So this is what I mean. When we look at this first example, or first trinomial, when we factor it, it's going to turn into x plus 3 times x minus 1. So this is what I mean when I say they kind of gave us the denominator already. Now that we understand that, let's think about the rules of fractions. When we're on the left side of the equation, we can't combine those two fractions unless they have the same denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply each one of those separate fractions by the denominator they're missing. So x is going to be multiplied by x minus 1, and this denominator is now complete. It has all the both binomials. And then when we go to the second one, we're going to multiply 5 by x plus 3 because that is what is missing in the denominator. So at this step now, we have the same denominator, and we're going to still focus on the left-hand side of the rational equation because we have to multiply and combine those numerators. So at this step, what I'm going to do, we're going to just drop the denominator. It's the same for the whole entire problem, right? So once we start simplifying now, we're going to have x squared minus x plus 5x plus 15, and this is equal to x plus 25, right? We don't need a denominator to combine because it's the same. So now we clean this up on the left side. We have x squared plus 4x plus 15 is equal to x plus 25. But you guys know when we're working with quadratic equations or we have an exponent of 2, right? We need to set that equation equal to 0 so that we could solve. And even factoring with the zero product property doesn't have to always be quadratics. But like I said, we go back and now we're going to subtract x and 25. So once I simplify this more, we're going to have x squared plus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. Now that we're at this part, guys, we're almost done with this problem. Almost. What is next? We need to factor. What is the actual answer now when we factor and set those factors equal to 0? So let's scroll down some. So we go back to y. And now when we factor, we're going to get x plus 5 is equal to 0, and x minus 2 is equal to 0. So we set our two factors equal to 0, and now we're going to solve. So we know x is equal to negative 5, and x is equal to positive 2. Now are we done with this problem? Honestly, we are done. But what I really want to show you is a second step when they say, hey, identify the extraneous solutions. What are they actually asking us? So we're going to take these answers and we're going to plug it back into the original equation. So here goes our original equation, right? Just rewriting it. So what we want to do at this step, and this is when we're checking for extraneous solutions. All we're saying is, hey, when we plug these x's in, will they actually be a solution? And that's what we're about to find out right now. So let's start off with negative 5. So everywhere I see x, we're going to put negative 5. So right now, we just about got all our x's substituted. And what I want to tell you guys, well, before I get there, thank you guys so much for continuing to watch our show, man. We really appreciate the support, the comments, the likes, and we really hope that these videos are really helpful for you guys. So now we substituted. Let's simplify. So we have -5 on top, -2 on the bottom, plus 5 over -6. This is equal to +20 all over. Let's just scroll up a little bit. Let's see, 25 minus 10 is 15. All right, 12. You guys could double check the work for me, but I'm certain it's right. All right, so now we're here. We understand that this first fraction is positive, but the issue is they do not have the same denominator. When we talk about fractions, we have to have the same denominator for us to add. So I'm going to multiply this first fraction by 6, so we can have a denominator of 12. And I'm going to multiply the second fraction by 2, so it could have a denominator of 12. So after I do this now, we're going to have 5 and 6 gives me 30. We have 30 over 12 plus -10 over 12. And they're saying this is equal to +20 over 12, which it is. So we know that 5 is not, -5, I'm sorry, is not an extraneous solution because it actually satisfies the equation. Now let's check our second answer. We're going to go over, and let's switch to a different color. We're going to switch to pink. So now we go back, and we're going to do the same thing, but we're substituting in +2. So I have 2 over All right, so now we substituted everything in, and we're going to do the same thing as we did above. So now for my answer, this is what we are going to get. We're going to have 2 over 5 plus 5 over 1 is equal to 27 over, let me just double check. That should be 5. All right, so now the same thing happens, guys. We need to have the same denominator. So for us to have the same denominator, I'm going to multiply this second fraction by 5. Once I do that, I'm going to get this on my screen. 2 over 5 plus 25 over 5 is equal to 27 over 7. And once we simplify this more and add, we're going to get 27 over 5 is equal to 27. Oh, what did I put 7 here? I'm sorry, guys. Oops. Typo. 27 over 5. So when we're talking about rational equations and checking for the extraneous solutions, this is exactly how you do it from start to finish. Really hope you found this video helpful today. Thank you guys so much for watching Algebra 1 with Mr. Peters. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave comments for future videos you guys would like to see on our channel, or if you had a question on today's video. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.